For Infusion number 2, I'm going to be talking about Maxwell's book, Everyone Communicates, Few Connect. And right off the bat, chapter 1 really resonated with me. It talked about how you really need to listen to your teammates and be able to build that trust with them by listening. I think everybody's had that friend that, while you're telling them something that's bothering you or something like that, they jump right in with an experience they've had. And sometimes that can be helpful, and other times it can feel like they're not really listening. They just want to say what they have to say, and that's not always the best thing. So as far as in groups, applying listening to people, asking them how their day's going, that's something I've really been working on. As a senior, I remember when I was a freshman, the seniors were scary. So I try to always remember that and try to connect with my freshmen and ask them how their day's going, ask them how they're adjusting to school. And I work on that every day. So another one is to give praise when needed. And through volleyball, this has been something I've also worked on because, when people make mistakes all the time, that's how volleyball works. You only get a point when somebody makes a mistake. So when somebody does something good, they don't really think about it as much as when they do something bad. So having that person there to say, hey, that was really awesome, great job, it boosts their confidence, and in return, make them feel better. And confidence is what you need when playing any sport, and that's what's really going to make you win. So in chapter 4, he talked about how connecting requires energy, and this is something that I've experienced my whole life, whether it be on teams or in relationships. And it really, I read that chapter and I was like, I've never really thought about it does require energy. It requires trying and really putting in that effort and making the other person feel like you are. Sometimes people think they're doing enough and it's not enough. And sometimes I am guilty of that. I don't really think about, maybe reaching out to a friend or a teammate, just randomly, and making them feel like I'm making that effort. There's the quote that says, the phone works both ways. And as that may be true, you can't always put the blame on the other person. Giving it your all and your effort is something that's really important too. So applying this, I know people on my team, they have school, they have jobs, they have other things going on. But I did talk about this. Being a captain, I spoke about this in one of our meetings, how it requires energy to be a good teammate. And I really think it did resonate with some of them because we did start a discussion about it. And there are people on the team that struggle with that. And it comes off as they're a bad teammate, they're not trying, they have a bad attitude, and the team chemistry, the team morale lowers every single time someone does that. And all it takes is that one person. So we talked about it, and the people that had been struggling with it, they even said, I will give more energy to this team because it does take energy. It's not just showing up to practice, showing up to the game. You have to be there mentally. We always say be where your feet are, and that's where, being present is something that's huge. You have to give energy for your teammates to trust you, for us to really work together. And this will, in return, create better team chemistry, which is huge when it comes to being successful and winning. So, going down a little bit. So connecting is more skill than talent. This is something that needs to be practiced. And people say, I'm not really good at talking, or I don't really like being loud, whether it's on the court or in everyday lives. It's something that needs to be worked on. It's not something that just is given up. So this is also something we talked about. Communication is huge. For example, if someone is going to be late to lift or not coming to practice, they need to voice that to the coaches and the captain. It's something that needs to be ingrained And it is a skill. It's something that you practice. You practice doing it. And sometimes if that means over communicating, that's even better. That will actually give you a greater chance of doing better in the future. So these are all things that really resonated with me, and I took to my team, and we had a great discussion on it. And I really think that, in our spring season, things start to kind of die down a little bit. People aren't as focused. They're like, oh, we're not in season. It's more relaxed, but it's not. They need to stay at the same high level as we were in the fall. And so I think they really, and even myself, took a lot from that discussion. And I think applying this, everyone will benefit from it, feeling like a better teammate, a better person, a better friend, and hopefully it'll make us more successful in the future.